Break, what's going on, man? By the time you get on here when I come home. Man, I was watching that game last night, and I don't know if the Bucks were snake bitten or what, but looked like Detroit is a better team. But like I told you guys before, you don't want to show anybody all that you have. You want to say something for the playoffs, and I don't know if Detroit was able to do that. Um, what I mean by that is, you got the Bucks that kind of had like a little bad look last night. They threw a couple passes that were caught, and the guy hit the ground. He dropped it. Mike Evans, he catches a deep ball, and not only does he look like he separated his shoulder, he got a shoulder injury, but I thought he separated it right away, and then it looked like he was knocked out. So he's got a concussion and a separated shoulder, so he's going to be out a while. And you can't expect the game to go like that again if they were to play again in the playoffs. Um, but I think that Detroit is a very serious contender for the NFC. They got the defense, and that is the big thing. That is huge because right now Dallas is doing a little bit better than what I thought they would do on offense. I thought they would score around, they were capable of scoring 28, 29 points a game um, offensively, and that's about where they are. As a team, they've scored, 40 points, three times this year? A lot of people are making a big deal about that, but a lot of teams are going to be throwing pick sixes, and that doesn't count for their offense. So I think their offense is tapped out at the most about 28 points. And if you don't turn the ball over, and you know that defense is awful, I don't see Dallas surviving. And I think Detroit has the defense to slow Dallas down and still score on them. And we've seen this movie before with Dallas. They look all good and they get people excited and they think they're going to do something, and they get their head blown out in the first round of the playoffs. And it's pointing toward that again. I think Mike Evans, he'll be all right. He just came back from an injury, and the announcers thought that he did something to his hamstring. But I've pulled hamstrings before. You're not gonna have that reaction when you pull a hamstring. You're gonna at least hop up and hop over to the sideline. But when he got up, he didn't hop over anything. He didn't know where he was, so he hit that turf, and it rung his bell. At least for Evans, this is not the 80s and 90s turf that had concrete under it. So if you wasn't aware of that, those indoor stadiums that used to put concrete down before they put the turf down, and that's what made that turf real hard. And a lot of guys got knocked out that way. But when they came with the World Cup, I believe it was in '94, the World Cup came to the United States, I think, for the first time. And what they did, they used all those indoor stadiums like Atlanta and Detroit, and they figured out a way. First, they tried to put natural grass inside these stadiums, and they had to do it in a certain time window to get it to stay alive long enough for these guys to play soccer. But since then, they came up with that rubber. They used the rubber from old tires. So you see a guy dragging his foot when he make a catch, and that black stuff pops up. That's tire rubber, and that is a way that they figure out how they can have actual grass indoors or grass-like texture indoors. And it all stemmed from trying to figure out a way to do it for that '94 World Cup. Now, speaking of the World Cup, that's coming back to America for the first time since then, next year. And not only America, they're going to go into, I'm not sure about Canada, but I know Mexico is going to have some action too. So it's going to be pretty exciting and a different setup from where it was back in '94 when it was strictly in the United States. All right. JC, what's going on, man? Well, I don't know if cornerbacks are horrible or not. I mean, it's hard to play defense now. You can't really do anything. If you turn back and look for the ball and the guy reaches around you, they're going to call interference. If you don't turn around, they're going to call interference. it wasn't like as strict this year as it was, say, last year. I noticed it at the very beginning, and I thought the trend was going to be set then that they were going to be calling a lot more pass interference. But you take a guy like Jalen Ramsey, he's a good player. He'll come up and tackle you and covers good most of the time, but he sure grabs and holds an awful lot of time. And the rule change really affects him. And you saw that take place Thursday night when he got all those calls against Jamar Chase. And if they really wanted to, they can call interference just about on every play, just like holding. But I think what the league is going to do, like they always do, in the playoffs, you're going to see a different style of officiating. So where you've seen all these pass interference calls now, you won't see as many in the playoffs. And then when they go talk about what happened this year, then they're going to scale back a little bit on the pass interference calls. And it's going to be a little bit more like what you've been used to seeing. But yeah, if you really want to call interference, you can call interference on every play. It doesn't surprise me at all. But the cornerbacks themselves, no, they're not as good as they used to be because certain things you can't do that can help your game. Guy catch the ball, you can lay a hit on him, try the ball loose. I didn't want to say it's a penalty. So, I mean, there's not much that defenders as a whole can do. I think what's going to happen is, and I tell you this all the time, that flag football is coming to pro football at some point. The defenders, before that happened, the defenders just going to be stationary. They're going to be like electronic targets. So if a guy runs a route and he happens to bump into a defender and he touches him, a sensor is going to go off and you're going to be down right there. I think that's what's coming to football. If you can't hit the guy, and when you do hit him, you see they act like glass and they shatter. It's just not tough enough, man. And if you go back to that rant Michael Irvin had when the guy tried to say these guys are better today, the valid points he brought up about these guys not being tough enough is being shown every time you see a football game. They don't wear any pads, and then they get a little soft hit, and they got to come get them. And then, when they're running across the middle and nobody can touch them, then act like they're the greatest in the world. All the kids see and all the modern fans see is these guys running through the middle untouched. But they don't realize that the defenders really can't do anything about it. They can't hit them. Just take the quarterback, for example. You rush the quarterback and you hit him. It used to be you could take a step and not get a penalty. But now if you take a step, it's a penalty. If you hit the guy high, it's a penalty. If you hit him low, it's a penalty. And get this, if you hit him and fall on his ass, they're going to call a penalty back for that too. I mean, the joke when I played was the quarterback put a dress on. That's what the red shirt meant. It's pretty much a dress. But they really got dresses on now. They can put the high heel shoes on and go with them because it's just a stroll through the park. And they need to make a decision if we're going to play football or not. And right now they're not playing football. It's just a facsimile thereof. And it's going to get worse. JC says, did you get to check out the Seattle game? You think they're the real deal? I saw most of it. Yeah, I did see some of that. I think Houston is not that good. And you saw a little bit of that last night. What I'm seeing, to piggyback on what I just said about these guys not being tough enough, I saw it last week with Michael Penix. And it reminded me of how he was in the NCAA championship when they played against Michigan. Penix is great. All these guys are great until you put some pressure on them. Then they start to look completely different. Penix, he's got this, he starts short arming his passes and throw them in the dirt, or he gets rid of it real fast. Hopefully he can throw it before he gets hit. He ducks and he throws an errant pass. He's trying to avoid the contact. He doesn't want any part of the contact. And it don't look so good. Same kind of thing with C.J. Stroud. I've never seen so many bounce passes in the last couple of weeks that I've seen in years. And it just looks like, what the hell is going on? I mean, are you guys truly afraid to play this game? I can see if you get hit and you get driven in the middle of your passing form and the ball gets short, then that's understandable. But to be able to fully deliver and throw balls in the dirt or way off target, I mean, This is why you draft guys after you've seen what they would do over a body of work, not for them to come into the league and start looking like they never played the game before. Um, and it's feast or famine. So you throw a great pass 2 times, and then the next time you throw the worst pass you ever seen. And nobody seems to be saying anything about that. And I would keep an eye on Penix because I've seen a couple of that 2 weeks in a row from him where I don't know what the hell kind of pass he's throwing. And CJ Stroud, you saw some of that in him last night. I think what's going to happen if this continues, the league is going to take the high road again, and they're going to just say that you can't hit the passer at all. Touch him on the shoulder and he's down. And then, that's going to be a problem because he's going to say, I wasn't down. But then you can't take a hit either. So I don't know, man. What do you think should happen? Somebody help me out, man, because I don't get it. These guys are just soft, man. I remember I was in high school. We went down a place called Titusville on the other side of Daytona. I was playing quarterback in high school. I came in, I was second string. We're getting blown out. But it didn't matter to me because I was playing. I got out there. I took the snap, dropped straight back. I saw my guy had him on a hook route, flung it out there. I guess I threw a decent pass, but I don't remember seeing where the ball went because all I saw was a patch of blue come out of nowhere. Dude hit me right under the chin. Wow. Lucky for me, I had my jaw closed. Otherwise, I would have broke it. Solid helmet right to the jaw. Blood all in the chin strap. But I stood in there, and it didn't knock me out. And I followed the flight of the ball best I could. He didn't catch it because he hit me at the time to throw the pass off. But at the same time, I didn't get up and cry about it or limp to the huddle. These guys nowadays, if they were to take that same shot, a helmet to the chin, first of all, they're going to throw the dude out of the game for hitting me like that. And they wouldn't be trying to get too close like that anyway because they feel like they're going to get flagged. But the thing about it is, I was tough enough to take it, and I wasn't looking around for no flag, anything like that. And the big thing that most people miss is that if you're playing the game, you're subject to anything that happens to you. I got cheap shot that time. It was late. And these guys, they're complaining about legal hits. A lot of the stuff that they call them penalties on, I don't consider them as penalties. But in the soft age of football, that's what they call. So you have to deal with it. But it's just a difference in time frames. I just a high school kid taking vicious shots like I took, and it didn't faze me. I got up ready for the next play. These guys here, they cry and limp to the sideline, or if you're basketball, you get fouled and you roll all on the floor, like what John Morant did in the playoffs. This man fall flat on his chest, but he got a hip injury. How the hell? I don't understand. Then he out for a couple of weeks behind that. I don't understand. What's wrong with the quarterback from Washington? He's not the same from last year. Well, like I told you guys before, these defensive coordinators, they don't sleep. All through the summer while you out fishing and getting ready for a hopeful season from your team, these guys been watching film. While you're on Christmas break or New Year's, they're looking at film, even if the season is over. So they got a whole body of work of how to defend this guy, Jaden Daniels. Now, I don't think there's nothing wrong with him. I think he's just got a few little lingering injuries he's dealing with. Like the other day, he came out of the game with a hamstring issue. And that's primarily his problem. Also, he doesn't have his full complement of receivers. The other day, they were missing like 3 or 4 receivers. McLaurin, I don't think he's played yet. So when he get his full load back, and when he adjusts to the adjustments that the defenders are making against him, he'll be back. So I guess the sophomore slump can be applied to Jaden Daniels. But if you look at a guy like Brian Thomas, all them passes he dropping in Jacksonville, he better tighten up. I'm starting to think maybe in love or something. He can't focus on the game because he's dropping too many passes. Matter of fact, a lot of the Jaguar passes are being dropped. I'm not saying that the quarterback don't have some blame to that, but if he does get it to you and hits you in the hand in a pass that you should be catching on this level, then you better damn sure catch it. And Thomas, I've seen enough of him this year that maybe he should lose this number one receiver spot. Put Travis Hunter out there. He's trying to catch the ball, but they keep the training wheels on him. They need to let the man play the game or put him on one side of the ball and just stick with that. But if you're going to play him on offense, let him run some routes. He hit him on a corner route the other day for a touchdown. So Cohen, he needs to take the training wheels off Hunter. Right now, Thomas, we tripping, man. Yeah, I agree, Break. I know Daniels is good, but the Commanders aren't looking like they did last year. Now, I think the Commanders, they're going to be all right. The Giants, I told you, weren't going to be as bad as people thought they were. Once they get caught up to how Dart functions, and they're going to slow down the same way that the Commanders are. But right now, the Eagles, they're going to get their sea legs, and they're going to be okay. Once they figure out how to get Saquon untracked. That's the focus of the teams right now. You can't let him get going. It's the same thing with the Ravens. You got a guy like Jackson. Hurts and Jackson are similar type players. It's just that Jackson is more elusive and Hurts is a better passer. But the thing is, it all depends on the running game. You have to be able to stop the back first. If the back is able to get going, then you don't really have a prayer of stopping the other guy because he's going to be able to do what he wants to do. Because you're so worried about trying to stop the back, then you forget all about the quarterback and he's going to run around the outside and you got a problem. So the key is to beating the Eagles is the same as the Ravens or any other team. You got to stop the run first, then you get on that quarterback. That's how that works. Break said the Jags 4-1 just 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they lost 2 games. They lost to Seattle and they lost over into the Rams. But again, that is primarily they can't get anything going because they keep dropping all these passes. Now, I don't think they can compete with the Rams anyway, but they can do better than 35-7. And if they were to play the Rams again this week, it'd be a completely different story. Not saying that they would beat them, but it won't get beat by 28 points. It's all execution. And these guys are dropping too many passes. For the money they make and the scrutiny that they have to go through just to make the team, you would think when they get in the game that they would perform better than what they're doing. Now, Lawrence, he still throws some bad passes, but if he hits you in the hand, you have to catch the ball. Everybody's now back on Kansas City's bandwagon saying, well, they're clearly the best team in the AFC. I'm not so sure about that. You can score on Kansas City. And with Rice and all the other weapons they got, they're going to score their 25, 26 points, whatever it is. I still think Pittsburgh can play with any of these teams out there. It's just a matter of keeping Rodgers upright. Now, Pittsburgh, their problem, I think, is using Metcalf and receiver by committee primarily with the tight ends because they don't have a clear number 2. This guy, Austin, I think he's still hurt. But when I seen him play, I wasn't so impressed with him. So I think what Pittsburgh should do with the trade deadline coming up is come up with a number 2 receiver to complement Metcalf. So if you get another receiver and then you got your tight ends running down the middle, that makes Pittsburgh's offense that much more dangerous. But they have a defense that can travel. And I don't care how good these offenses are. In the playoffs, these NFL tends to not call as many penalties on the defense. They let you play. And if Pittsburgh is healthy defensively going into the playoffs and they keep causing turnovers like they've been doing, they're going to cause problems for some teams, whoever they face. It still comes down to if you got a top offense going against a top defense, most of the time the defense is going to win that. If you look at the history of the game, all the rules changes are based on curtailing the power of the defense. And all the fans want to see is score. But the only reason they're able to do that because the league won't let the defenses play. I say in the playoffs, let the defenses play. Wide receiver come across the middle, hit him. Let's see how tough he is. You're supposed to be the best ever because of the numbers they're putting up now. Well, let's see how you do when somebody hit you. And that's what Irvin was saying. These guys are running a little, catching the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and they're not flexing like they are the top receivers. Now, numbers-wise, they're going to be up there. They're playing more games. The style of play is different, and it looks like they are greater than what they are. But if you just say let the defenders play, hit some of these guys coming across the middle. Some of the guys you think are stars, they really aren't. It's just the way they look. But anyway, Kansas City right now, people are thinking that they're the best in the AFC. Detroit last night by getting past the Bucks. Give the Bucks 2 losses. Detroit head-to-head beat them. You're still looking up to Green Bay as far as I'm concerned because Green Bay beat them opening week. The rematch is going to be important when these two guys play again. And I'll be looking to see. Because right now, Green Bay, they surviving by the hair and they chin the same way the Bucks are. But I don't know if that's sustainable. And unless they come through with some kind of offensive breakthrough like they did 2 years ago, I don't see the Packers going very far. But one thing's for sure, Parsons sure helps their pass rush coming off. He got to the Cardinals quarterback when he had to. When it was crunch time, he got to that quarterback, and that's what you pay him for. So I'm looking forward to how this season shakes out and definitely to the playoffs. Not in a rush because, once football season is over with, then we got to suffer through all these other sports. But like I always say, basketball, baseball, all these other things, it's just something to do until football comes back around. And that's just the way it is. All right, break. NFL is happy, no dominant teams. There's parity in the league. Yeah, I like parity. People that don't like parity, they're more into college football because you can be the big dog over here. And before they change these playoff patterns, you can have 4 or 5 big dogs in one season. And the fans were happy because they can think that they were the best. But now that you got to play, you can't hide anymore. And that's a good thing about college. It's becoming more parity there also. And I like it. Now, speaking of college football, the Florida Gators, we talked about that yesterday. They fired Napier. You got several jobs open now. Colorado State. Word is one of the former Georgia assistant coaches is going to take that job as an interim basis. And I'm looking for the hammer to fall this year in Tallahassee. I think Norvell is going to be out this time. He's going to be just like Napier. So Miami Dolphins, they're probably going to fire their coach. So if you take the Miami Dolphins, Florida Gators, Florida State, there'll be a lot of open football jobs here in Florida. So it's going to be a change. It's a change coming. And Aaron Glenn up in the Jets, if you don't hurry up and win 2 or 3 games, you're going to be out the door in this first year. It's a shame to say that because he's a good coach, but that's just the way it is. And JC, do you think the Dodgers would take out Toronto? Toronto got a lot of heart, man. Look like the Mariners had them. And that guy hit that 3-run homer last night. It changed the whole complexion, man. And I think some teams you just got to beat. And I think Toronto is one of those teams. And it should be a good series. But the way the Dodgers are playing right now, it wouldn't surprise me if they beat the hell out of Toronto. But they're going to have to let Toronto know early that we're going to whip you guys. And they're going to have to play like it from the beginning. But if they let them hang around, 5-6 game series, Toronto is likely to take it, man. But I keep an eye on that as well. But again, get ready to play the World Series where we talk about the most, football. Because everything else is just something to do until football comes back around. By the way, speaking of that, basketball, they start tonight. We try to make a big deal out of it. I did find out that NBC is now back in the NBA game. They've been out for a while, but they're back in now. They're talking about the theme music that we all come to know, making a big deal out of that. So they're trying to stay relevant, but it'll never be football. One last look at this poll. Is Detroit the best team? Most of you saying yes right now, but time will tell. Cowboys, they need to make some upgrades to their defense. If they can hold people to about 20 points, now the Cowboys become a threat. But I just don't think that's going to happen. They'll find a way to blow it. Bryce Prescott playing good football, though. Getting some rush off that corner from Clowney. Can it be sustained is the question. But I think that a depleted Washington team couldn't really exploit them like a good offensive team would do in the playoffs. So I'm not really looking for Dallas to do a whole lot. But they look pretty good on offense right now, and that's what the regular season is for, to sell some tickets. So they're doing their job. But anyway, I got to get up out of here, man. The horn's down. Got to go sign in, go to work, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning. Unless there's some breaking news, I catch you guys in the morning about 6:30. And hopefully there's some breaking news so I can come to you. Like I say, a couple more coaching jobs may fall at any time. And when they do, I'll be the first to let you know. In the meantime, have a great day. All right. I forget who's playing Thursday. I think it's the Vikings and the Chargers. Chargers started out like game busters, but now they don't